Powered by Pipe TV.
Tony's on the move again. Tony's on the move again.
Hi and welcome. I am your host, Miss Tony, and we are on the move. This show is all about having things that are interesting and relevant, and I want to make sure that the guests that are brought to you are interesting or relatable and inspiring. So one such guest that I have with me today definitely fits that profile. So help me welcome to the studio here with me today, Sal Motta. Hi, Sal.
Hi, how are you?
Did I say your name right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, because I was going all kind of like Italian Motta. Yeah, anyway, don't mind me. But welcome and thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Look, let's break it down. Husband.
Yes.
Father.
Yes.
Grandfather.
Yes.
Yes. Sergeant Detective Command Officer, NYPD.
Yes.
And to top it off, we have to put in there actor. Yeah, he giggles with that.
That's my newest title.
Yes, we're going to talk about that. But let's start from the very beginning here.
Mm-hmm.
Family man. You are a family man.
Absolutely.
Husband. 10 plus years with your wife, Deidre?
Yes.
Yes. How did you guys meet?
Online dating.
What?
Believe it or not, yes. Okay. After a few years of being alone, I decided, you know what, it's time to jump back in the pool, and heard from a friend that online dating helps break down a little barriers, because you kind of know where you're going, and if you're honest when you do your profile.
You wasn't nervous about something like that?
A little bit, of course you are. Yeah. It was no different than meeting someone in the bar that you don't know.
I guess we could say that, definitely. And now, husband, and you became a father. How many kids?
All right, between us, we're a blended family. My wife Dee has our beautiful daughter Selena, who's 32,
wow.
And I have 22-year-old twins that just graduated college. I'm so proud of them.
Congratulations.
And Selena and her husband Newton have blessed us with Miss Zuri.
Zuri.
She just turned 2 years old, and I am head over heels in love again.
Just by your smile, I could tell she has you wrapped around her little finger.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
Look, so we've gone into family man, and we're going to shoot right into this thing called the career man. Mm-hmm. You have this awesome, long career with NYPD. How long you been with them?
A little over 33 and a half years.
Wow. Still there?
Still there.
Any form of retirement in the future?
I've toyed with the idea, but I just still love what I do. Currently, I'm the commanding officer of the Bronx Child Abuse Squad in the Special Victims Division. I love giving and helping a child who has no voice when they're being abused, whether it's physically or even worse, sexually.
Right.
I've been with the Special Victims Division for 16 years.
Ooh.
I've been offered other things, but I've actually stayed there because I love what I do.
Right.
I love what I do.
So my thing is, how did you actually move up through the ranks? How does that actually work? Because I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm going to mention it again, my son is looking into going into NYPD, and I am so nervous about that. But he immediately thinks he's going to, conquer the world, so how do you move up the ranks?
Everything up to the rank of captain, so from police officer, sergeant, lieutenant, and captain are tests. It's a civil service exam. Okay. I passed the test for sergeant in 1992. I was promoted. It was during the time when Giuliani had merged the 3 police departments, so promotions had come. So I didn't get promoted to sergeant until the beginning of 97. And then I was my detective sergeant rank, that is appointed to you. That is a discretionary promotion for good work, hard work, etc. That I was promoted to detective sergeant sergeant in 2008.
Wow, 2008.
Yeah.
So it already sounds like, and I'm going to bring it up, you were actually working and in service during 9/11.
Yes.
How was that for you?
9/11, I like to say it this way. I was home in bed when the planes hit the trade centers.
Right.
I had just come off vacation and was I used to work 8 at night till 4:30 in the morning. So that night I stayed up super late to try to get back into my work sleep pattern.
Correct.
And I was woken up at 9 in the morning, like a plane hit the trade center, and I initially thought it was an accident. But
Correct.
At the time I wore glasses. The second I put my glasses on so I could see a little clearer is when the second plane hit, and I said, we're being attacked.
Wow.
I knew it.
Wow.
And
did you go into mode right away, called, seeing what you could do? 'Cause like you said, you like to help.
I packed the bag for a week's worth of clothing as if I was going on vacation, toiletries, change of, I have my uniforms at work, so mainly undergarments and stuff, so I could shower and change, because I knew I would be there for a while.
For a while. How did your family feel about you?
Worried, everybody was. Even while we were down there, initially we were worried about secondary attacks, because
Right.
that's very common in terrorism.
Correct.
That they'll wait till first responders get to a place and then, set off some other type of device.
Correct.
So just something as simple as driving to and from locations, we were so very nervous.
Right. So knowing that, I know that was traumatic. That was traumatic for the world. Is there anything else in your career that you could say got you second guessing as to why the hell am I becoming a police officer?
I have to say I've never second guessed myself as to why. I think it was all the watching Beretta SWAT and Starsky and Hutch as a kid that I just knew I wanted to be a cop. There were times early in my career, before the dramatic drops in crime, I've been a cop in Harlem. Of my 33 years, probably 27 of my years I've worked in Harlem.
Wow.
Harlem is my second home. My wife jokes with me, she's African American, and she says, you walk around Harlem like you own the place. And I was like, this is my home. It really is. I'm comfortable here.
Right.
But early in the 80s, 87, 88, 89, 90, before the dramatic cuts in crime started, I went to 1,000 too many young male shots, and it was just so sad. And I used to really think, like, when's this going to stop? When's the violence going to stop? In this Harlem community, because it's what I knew, it's what I felt, it's what I lived in.
Right, messing with my family kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, so now with the times that we're living now, it kind of came back around in history almost, where the community and the relationship between the community and the officers. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, I am so nervous about it. Why? Because I told you, my son, he wants to be a police officer. Is there any advice you can give him and any other young male or female that wants to get into the department?
It is a noble profession. It's a profession. It is a professional. It's just as if we were teachers or doctors. But it's a piece of advice that was imparted on me in 1988. I was a young cop. You rarely got a chance to be in a police car. You walk on a beat, or you sat on a hospitalized prisoner in Harlem Hospital. That was your duty. Or you watched the prisoners in the back cell. You didn't ride in a police car right away. You had to kind of earn your wings to get into a police car on a steady basis.
Well, I think that's my fault too, because I was a young mom raising 3 kids on my own, and I have 2 boys, and I wanted to make sure that they were around positive male role models. So what did I do? What did Miss Toni do? Enlist them in the police cadets. So I was living upstate in living upstate in Putnam County. So they did the police cadet. My oldest son, who I'm talking about, Walter, he actually became a cadet sergeant.
Nice.
They sent him away for the summer to FBI camp.
Wow.
So he was in awe and so forth and so on, and here he is. And I'm going to make sure that he gets that advice, knowing that it's a noble.
The best advice that I got one particular day with one particular officer, and I laugh to myself now because I was about 22. He was probably about 46. He looked like an old man to me. I'm way older than 46 right now. But at the time, he seemed like an older guy, and he said this to me, and tell your son this, and I say this to every young person I get the pleasure of training and bringing in new into the special victims world. As law enforcement, we have a right to take someone's freedom away. Taking that freedom away can cost them in many different ways. Cost them their job, cost them their families.
Right.
What you're not allowed to take, and this is what this older officer said to me that day, is you're never allowed to take away someone's dignity.
Wow.
You cannot.
Wow.
And I have lived my 33 years holding that in my head constantly.
Right.
Always treating someone with respect. Have I had to fight with people? Yes, I've had to fight with people, but the fight's over when the cuffs are on and you put them in the car and it's over with. And it's done with, you know?
Right.
And I've never taken anything anyone's done to me physically or verbally as a personal attack.
Right.
It's not, you don't know me.
Right, right. Look, that is absolutely great advice. I'm going to make sure that everyone could hear that. You are not allowed to take someone's dignity.
No.
Yes. Well, look, you have so many other pieces to your world. Again, you are a family man. You're a career man. And we have one more piece of that puzzle that we're going to share with you. And we're going to come right back. All right, Sal, you're going to stay right here with me?
I'm right here.
Okay, so we're going to come right back, and he's going to share that one more piece of the puzzle to make a whole complete picture of who Sal Motta is, okay? So don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. When we return, let's talk. Welcome back. We are here once again with Sal, and I just wanted to make sure that everyone understands about this career that you love so much. You know, you talk about service. You love to service the community. Now, we talked a little bit about 9/11, but really, how did 9/11 affect you as Sal?
As I stated earlier, 9/11 was a trying time because we were very nervous while we were down there.
Right.
The assignments ranged from being at Ground Zero. A lot of us, after putting 16, 18-hour shifts, would stay on the bucket brigade. You saw videos of cops and firemen with buckets because we thought early on that we would have found more survivors.
Wow.
In voids underneath the buildings that had fallen.
Correct.
Unfortunately, no. We didn't, and there came a point after some weeks that that's when they brought the big diggers in and were like, it's so much time has gone by, and it was sort of a recovery as opposed to a rescue after some time. As I spoke of earlier, we worried about secondary attacks, etc. There never was a secondary terrorist attack, but there was an attack on not only the first responders that came and spent, I logged in 700 hours at Ground Zero and or the New York City morgue.
Wow.
From 9/11 till the end of 2001, beginning of 2002. But there was a secondary attack, and it was covered vastly in the news last year. Comedian Jon Stewart helped champion the 9/11 Health Fund, which unfortunately had become a little bit of a political football. By both sides.
Yeah. Politics always seem to happen to slip in there and play a role.
Yeah, and I was very vested in what the government was going to do because it's not just the first responders, it's the folks that were working that heavy equipment, removing all the debris from people who lived and worked around Ground Zero. The cancer rates amongst first responders, I can speak of first responders, within 8 to 10 years post 9/11 was up 43% compared to the average cancer rate prior to 9/11. I mean, that's not an anomaly, 43% jump in cancer rates. And unfortunately, but fortunately, I'm here talking about it. In 2009, I had a tumor removed from my scalp. It was cancerous. I had to have a secondary surgery, remove what they call the larger margins, where they confirmed that I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. of the scalp, face. I had lesions growing underneath my skin, not skin cancer. Skin cancer's on the skin. This was in my skin, in my scalp, my nose, my head. And my oncologist at the time said, you don't treat anyone for any type of lymphoma and not check the bone marrow. So I had a bone marrow exam, which is the most excruciating thing I've ever experienced in my life.
Yes.
And I found out that I had cleaved cell lymphoma in my bone marrow.
Oh, wow.
This was very concerning to my oncologist because 2 lymphomas at the same time.
Right.
So all of my paperwork was sent to the 9/11 Health Fund, and it was deemed that my cancer was caused by my response to 9/11.
Wow.
More first responders have passed away from 9/11 illnesses, 9/11 related illnesses, than ever died on 9/11 itself. And that is
like mind-blowing right now, these numbers that you're quoting to me. You know, because we just see the outside. Here you are in the inside and telling us this is the numbers. This is real.
Yep.
This is real.
In the opening years, when I say that, I would say by 03 to 04, 05, 06, I was a sergeant in the 28th Precinct, which covers the Apollo area of 125th Street in Harlem. And 3 officers, 3 that I personally supervised. What's the chances of that? James Godby, Seabrook, and Bobby Grossman all died of cancer within a year and a half of one another.
Wow.
You know, and that's one precinct. That's just one precinct I'm talking about. There was every precinct, every specialty unit, narcotics unit, people who did administrative work at one police plaza were there, and the cancer rates were through the roof,
Wow. So what is the prognosis for you now? What is going on with you now?
I actually just saw my oncologist the end of July this year. I still see him every 6 months. I am been cancer-free for 12 years now, thank goodness.
Yes.
And I consider myself one of the lucky ones because there's so many of us who've been diagnosed with 9/11 cancers and are not here to talk about it any longer.
I'm just going to go back for a real quick question, because how did you know to get tested? Like, what were there signs?
I literally looked like I was growing a horn on my head.
Okay.
And I do a very good comb over here for the large scar that I have on my scalp.
Right.
But I had it removed because it literally looked like I was growing a horn. I got very lucky that it presented where it was visible, because had it presented in the trunk of my body, I might not have known I had it for a much longer period of time.
Amazing. I am so happy. I know your family's ecstatic. Yes.
Yes.
We'll be right back, and let's talk. Well, welcome back. As I told you, we have so much more to know about Sal. Going back for a quick minute, Sal, we reference you as a family man, and that foundation started from somewhere. You were born and raised where?
Right here in the Bronx.
Here in the Bronx, good old BX. Yes.
I not maybe 15 minutes from here in Parkside Houses along White Plains Road, just south of Gun Hill.
Right.
I'm the youngest of 4.
Okay.
My dad was a bus driver. My mom was a homemaker.
Hey, yes.
And Dad preached family all the time. Family. Right. We're all very close. My wife comes from a very close-knit family. And so the blending of it,
was
2 different families, it happened so seamlessly.
Right.
So seamlessly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Again, here in the Bronx, that's why you were saying that when you were in NYPD, it felt like home where you were servicing, right? So that leads us to going on to what you're doing. Well, not that you're doing it now, but our little piece of that puzzle that we talked about.
Yes.
Actor. As an actor, look, as an actor, you became an actor how?
I became an actor in this wonderful film, Whatever It Takes When Blood Runs Cold, because my childhood friend from the Bronx, where I grew up, Sean Cornelius, wrote, directed it. It originally started out to Sean reaching out to me, just bouncing police ideas off of me, being I am a police officer.
Experience, of course.
And
want to make sure the movie had
jargon, the connections of rank structure, like I spoke of before, who's the proper rank, to bring some realism in. And one day he says to me, he's like, there's a small part, it's just one phone call of Captain Lombardo, and you're gonna make a phone call, that's it. And 2 weeks later, he's like, I wrote another scene for Captain Lombardo, and I think you can do it. And I'm like, dude, I've never done this before. And he's like, you can do it, you can do it. And I guess he had great faith in me because
got another scene.
It was 6 scenes total, 5 made their way into the film.
Beautiful, yes, yes. And not for nothing, but I was there too. I was there for the premiere of the movie. I'm telling you, the movie was fantastic, and I saw you up on the screen. I did not personally get a chance to interview you on the red carpet, but my co-host from Pipe TV, she actually did a great interview on you as well. And I'm telling you, this movie, your part was fantastic.
Thank you.
My question to you is, what was your favorite scene out of the ones that you did?
My favorite scene on a personal level was the one with Sean and I in the car. It's an integral scene to find out where Lombardo lies within all the storyline, but just doing the scene with Sean, my friend of 45 plus years, and then seeing it on the screen was amazing. My favorite scene that I felt hit home, so where Detective Sergeant Motta, the 33-year veteran in the NYPD, and Captain Lombardo really
kind of meshed,
was the scene in the squad room when the detectives get into fighting and he screams at everybody. That's where I felt like there was a lot of me coming out. Yeah.
Wow. And guess what? We got that clip. All right. Yes.
Okay.
So everybody, let's turn to this clip and let's see Detective Lombardo.
Do whatever it takes to get the job done. Fishburne, if I were you, I'd listen to your partner and cool it down.
Yes, of course it's me. Who the hell do you think it is? Nah. Fishburne is nowhere near as responsible as you. He's a hothead, and he can be a real problem child at times.
That's why we need to know what that conversation was about.
I'm sorry. Does it sound like I'm asking you?
No! Because when they're done, you'll be done in this precinct.
Awesome, awesome clip.
Thank you.
How did your family feel about you doing acting now?
It was, everyone was super excited. They were like, really, Dad? And as I told them how it, and my wife was super excited. And of course, she's had met Sean times. We've gone to see his comedy shows and stuff. She's like, this is great. And then the day of the premiere, the whole family was there. The twins, Zelina, my son-in-law, my wife, and it was a little surreal to see my head so big on the screen. But to really be in a real movie theater and see it was absolutely amazing. The kids were on clouds 9. The whole red carpet end that we did with you guys with Pipe would just lended itself to it. It was just phenomenal. And my wife was like, hey, if it's something you want to do, the kids like, you should keep doing it, pursuing it. And I think I will eventually. I'm waiting for Sean to write Whatever It Takes too.
Look, we don't have to wait for Sean. You are a professional now. You are a professional. You could go out on your own.
Okay.
Which is where I'm coming to. Also, what is in your future as far as acting?
I have talked to a friend of mine who is an actor. You've all seen him. He actually helped me prior to filming the movie. He watched it. He complimented me in a lot of ways, and he criticized me in some ways. He goes, but he was very honest with me. He goes, someone with no formal training in acting. He says, I thought you actually did a very, very good job. That wasn't a stretch for me. I am a cop, and I played a cop. But we talked at length after he watched it. this probably was only about maybe 8-10 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
And he said I would, go to an acting school, just
Yes.
clean things up,
Correct,
if you will,
correct.
and then we'll see where it goes.
Okay. Now, we know that you can play a cop. That's easy. Is there another type of role that maybe you could see yourself in?
It's funny. I recently saw my friend in a very small film, and it was on one of the streaming networks, and he played a baseball coach, and I played 2 years of college baseball, so I think I could definitely do that. I play a lot of golf, as some of the people from the WIT cast knew that sometimes I was itching to get done with a shoot because I wanted to go play 18. So if I'm not seeing the grandbaby, I'm playing golf.
Wow.
So something to do with golf. And I think maybe I'm handicapping myself that way because I want to stay in a niche that I'm familiar with. I don't know. Someone may want me to play a doctor one day, and I'm really going to have to work on that because I'm not a doctor.
The lingo, the jargon, of course, that will come, on the job training. You know that, right? So look, it has been wonderful interviewing you. There is so much more that people should get to know about you. I want you to tell them, especially if you're going to pursue this acting, how can people reach out to you?
People can reach out to me under my proper name, Salvatore Motta, on social media, on Facebook. They can email me. They can get a hold of Sean. Sean always knows how to get a hold of me. Even pre-social media, somehow or another, we always stayed in touch. And anything, projects you got, I'm available. Okay. I'll try anything.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful to hear. That's wonderful to hear. Look, guys, I know time has been short, but look, we got everything we need to know about Sal, because we can't give out every single thing. You got to follow him, all right? Mm-hmm. So as most good things, they always come to an end. So I want to thank you, Sal, for joining us here today. We look forward to that. We all have a story like Sal, so we are here and we want to hear from you. So please make sure you reach out. And of course, join me next week for another exciting episode of On the Move with Miss Toni.